Welcome back to the deep dive. We're here again taking all those notes, all those sources you send in about peak performance, optimization.
Right, the usual stuff. Teams, budgets, operations.
Exactly. But today, we're applying that strategic brain to, let's face it, the system that probably trips up more high achievers than anything else.
The household, yeah.
The family unit. And specifically, we're doing a deep dive today into something we're calling the memory paradox in parenting.
Mm-hmm. And we've got a bunch of sources here looking at, how memory actually works, how our nervous systems talk to each other.
And crucially, how the whole detached parent way of thinking completely flips the script on where you should be putting your effort, what the actual ROI is on your day-to-day grind.
Right.
So let's just dive straight in with something bold. I mean, really contrarian up front.
Let's do it.
If you're listening, chances are you kill it in other areas. You manage complex projects, you lead teams, you optimize the heck out of everything you touch professionally.
Absolutely. Wired for efficiency.
But then you walk in the door at home and it's different. You're probably running yourself ragged chasing this impossible idea of perfection. Every moment has to be just right.
Oh, yeah. You're aiming for that good parent badge like it's a performance review. Pouring insane amounts of energy into being the teacher, the social coordinator, the chef, the therapist.
All at the same time, like a neurosurgeon juggling chainsaws.
Pretty much.
And here's the punchline. The strategic, maybe even brutal truth, most of that frantic effort, it's wasted.
Gone. Poof.
You're missing the point entirely. Your kids, they are not going to remember how perfectly you orchestrated Tuesday afternoon.
Nope. They won't remember the Pinterest-perfect lunchbox or the fact you spent 3 weekends building that ridiculously complex science project frame.
All that stuff in the middle, the constant doing, it just fades. It becomes background noise.
And look, this isn't just like a nice thought. It's psychology. There's a core principle here that, honestly, we need to exploit. It's called the peak end rule.
Okay, peak end rule. What does that actually mean for someone trying to run a household that, doesn't feel like constant chaos?
It means we got to stop thinking about memory like it's some kind of average score across the day. Our brains don't work like that, especially kids' brains.
Right. They're not accountants tallying up the good versus bad minute.
Exactly. They're using this super selective filter, and they basically latch on to 2 things. That's it. 1, the peak.
Peak, meaning?
The moment of the highest emotion.
Yeah.
Could be amazing joy, could be a massive tantrum, could be real fear. The most intense point.
Okay. Peak. What's number 2?
The end. How it finished. The final feeling of that interaction, or maybe the whole day. That sense of closure.
So peak and end, that's actually huge because it completely changes where the value is, doesn't it?
Totally reframes it.
Right.
You can bust your gut for 10 hours creating this perfect day.
Yeah.
But if the last 20 minutes end with you screaming or the kid dissolving into tears and frustration.
That ending is what sticks.
That's the memory that gets saved. That negative, intense end. It just bulldozes the 10 hours that came before it.
Yeah.
Erases the effort.
Okay, so the immediate takeaway here is stop trying to make the whole day perfect.
Stop it. It's a fool's errand. Flip your strategy. Put like 80% of your focus, your strategic energy on nailing the closure. Managing those peaks when they happen, yeah, but really executing the landing.
So strategic parenting isn't about constant vigilance.
No. It's about mastering the ending. That's where the leverage is.
Okay, that leads us right into this whole problem we see constantly with high achievers. We call it the effort trap.
It's classic.
Because you, our listener, you're wired to optimize. You find the bottlenecks, you streamline the process, you execute brilliantly at work.
Right. You wouldn't tolerate that kind of inefficiency in your business.
But then you come home and suddenly you're applying this crushing standard to family life. Like, packing a lunchbox requires the same intensity as closing a multi-million-dollar deal.
And you tell yourself, this is what good parents do. They play chief everything officer for the household.
Yeah.
Teacher, driver, conflict mediator.
Peacekeeper, yeah. And there's this deep-seated belief that more effort equals better results. If I just do more, things will be smoother.
It's overfunctioning. You're constantly running interference, trying to shield the kids from any discomfort, any struggle, any chance to actually learn something by, failing a little.
Totally. Terrified of them feeling bored or frustrated or not getting picked first.
And what happens? What's the result of pouring all this energy into preventing struggle?
You get exhausted, obviously. You're anxious all the time. And the kicker, the chaos doesn't actually stop.
Exactly. It persists.
Yeah.
Because the more you solve for them, the less capable they become, which means you have to step in more. It's this vicious cycle.
The anxiety just feeds itself. You're creating the problem you're trying to solve.
And that cycle is so destructive because of what we were just talking about, the peak end killer.
Right, bring it back to that vacation example, the classic Disney trip or whatever big, expensive family outing.
Oh, the poster child for misplaced effort. You've planned this thing for months. Spreadsheets, reservations, matching outfits.
Optimized to the nth degree. Massive investment time, money, emotional energy, peak parental performance.
You think you're creating the perfect memory.
But it's peak effort, low yield, isn't it? Strategically speaking.
Totally. Because then you fast forward, end of the day,
Yeah.
everyone's tired, sugar crashed. What's the moment that actually gets locked into memory?
It's never the perfect photo with the character, is it?
Rarely. It's the screaming match in the parking lot over a dropped ice cream. Or the meltdown because one kid got a bigger souvenir. Or maybe just the simmering resentment because you, the parent, were so stressed about the schedule that you snapped at everyone.
That negative ending, that peak dysregulation, it just wipes the slate clean.
Poof. The 10 hours of magic. Gone. Overridden by the fight for the shuttle bus.
And the typical anxious parent, the one caught in the effort trap, they obsessed about the start. The perfect morning routine, the packing list.
All their energy is front-loaded. They totally misunderstand where the actual memory leverage lies. They bet the farm on the middle and lose it all at the end.
So the detached parent, the strategic parent.
They see this flaw in the system. They know their energy, their capacity. It's finite. You can't be on and perfect 24/7.
Yeah.
So they shift the resources
From policing the start?
to managing the peaks and, most importantly, executing the landing, sticking the ending.
Which brings us to pillar 2 of this whole approach, presence.
Yes, but we got to be super clear what we mean by presence.
Right, because presence gets thrown around a lot. It
Reggie?
often sounds like you have to be constantly available, physically there, playing on the floor, warm and fuzzy all the time.
That's not it. Well, it's exhausting and, frankly, kind of codependent.
So detached presence is different.
It's strategic. It's not about being physically glued to your child 100% of the time. It's about being emotionally anchored, steady, and intentionally available during those key moments.
The peaks and the ends.
Exactly. The moments that actually forge the memories. Presence, in our world, means being that calm, immovable object that lets the kid's nervous system find its way back to safety, not being the other frantic pinball bouncing off the walls with them.
It's strategic regulation.
That's the core of it.
So you're shifting from quantity just being there to quality of
The
closure.
quality of the ending, quality of how you navigate the hard stuff. Yeah.
Okay, so how does this actually work? Like scientifically, how does my being strategically present actually change their experience?
Right. Let's get into the neuroscience a bit, because this is where it gets really powerful. And here's another one of those counterintuitive truths.
Okay, hit me.
Your kids don't listen to you.
Huh. Tell me something I don't know.
No, I mean, really, they don't process the words nearly as much as we think. They download.
Download. Like
Or-
dat.
Exactly.
Huh.
Like neural data. Their brains, especially when they're young, are basically mimicry machines. Think mirror neurons.
Ah, neurons. I've heard of those. They fire when you watch someone do something.
Right. But it's not just about actions like watching someone kick a ball. It's about emotions. Nervous system states. Kids are constantly, subconsciously scanning their environment, especially you, for the dominant emotional frequency.
So they're picking up on my vibe, not my lecture about cleaning their room.
100%. They feel your racing heart. They see the tension in your shoulders. They hear the edge in your voice, even if you're saying calm down. They download the panic, not the words.
Wow. So I'm basically programming their nervous system with my own state.
You are literally imprinting on them, on their developing personality, even how their genes get expressed. If you're living in chronic stress, always tense, always waiting for the other shoe to drop.
I'm teaching them that that's normal. That's how the world feels.
That's the baseline. You cannot tell a child to be calm if you are radiating anxiety. You have to be calm. Your energy state transmits way faster, way more effectively than any words you use.
Okay, that explains why sometimes, things escalate so fast, they're just mirroring my own freak out.
Precisely. Which is why we sometimes joke kids are the fast track to enlightenment.
Forget the silent retreat. Just try getting shoes on a toddler when you're late.
Exactly. They hold up a perfect, unvarnished mirror to your own internal chaos. They show you instantly where you are dysregulated, because your dysregulation becomes theirs.
So if the house feels constantly chaotic, the first place to look isn't the kid's behavior.
It's the head regulator.
The head regulator. Define that for us.
Okay, every system, family, team, company has one. It's the person whose nervous system state sets the tone for the entire group.
Yeah.
The unspoken CEO of the emotional climate.
They're the anchor, the thermostat.
Perfectly put. When the head regulator is steady, grounded, regulated, the whole system tends to stabilize. When the head regulator is spiraling, anxious, reactive, yelling,
The whole house goes down with them.
instantly, it's like a ripple effect. And this authority, this leadership, it's built entirely on your internal state, your calm, not on volume, not on threats, not on control tactics.
So what happens if the parent who should be the head regulator isn't? If they're caught up in the anxiety, the performance trap?
Great question. If the parent doesn't consciously claim that role, usually because they're too busy reacting or trying to force things, nature abhors a vacuum.
Someone else steps in.
A child will, unconsciously. They'll fill that leadership void by dictating the emotional weather, usually through big, dramatic behaviors. Defiance, meltdowns, demands.
So the kid ends up running the emotional show.
Yes. And the parent feels like a victim in their own home. Why won't they listen? Well, because you accidentally handed them the reins to the nervous system of the entire household. You outsourced your authority.
Wow, that's a broken system. The least regulated person is in charge.
Exactly. And this all ties back to biology, survival. It's called co-regulation.
Co-regulation, meaning we regulate together.
Precisely. A child's brain is hardwired to sync up with their primary caregiver's nervous system. It's how they learn what's safe. So if your internal alarm system is blaring, you're tense, you're panicked, you're expecting disaster.
Their little alarm system starts blaring too. They can't feel safe if I don't feel safe.
They literally borrow your nervous system state. They can't differentiate. Your panic feels like their panic.
Okay, but the flip side, that's where the power is, right? If I can stay
You
grounded.
get to your green zone.
Yeah.
They borrow your calm.
Yeah.
They sync with your stability.
Green zone. Okay, let's quickly define that. You use the traffic light system.
Yeah, super simple, super effective tool for self-awareness. We only parent from green.
So red zone is full meltdown, yelling, seeing red, totally lost control, if you're there. Strategic instruction, SDOP, do nothing. Walk away, breathe, regulate, do not engage.
Yellow zone.
Caution. You're tense, irritated, maybe lecturing, using that snippy tone. You're functional, but just barely. Risk of escalation is high. Instruction. Pause, ease. Slow down, breathe. Assess. Don't make big decisions. And green zone.
That's the goal. Calm, anchored, steady. You can observe without reacting instantly. You can think strategically. That's the only state from which you should be dealing with conflict, making decisions, or trying to bring closure to something.
Now, the big detached shift is the anxious parent tries to lecture from yellow or red,
Which just pours fuel on the fire because the kid downloads the anxiety, not the words.
while the detached parent focuses on getting themselves back to green first.
Yes. Regulate yourself first. Speak less. Let your calm energy do the heavy lifting. You become magnetic, drawing them towards stability instead of trying to control them, which just makes them push back harder.
Okay, so it's not about being cold or distant.
Not at all. It's about being a stable, emotional leader,
Right,
refusing to get sucked into their storm. You anchor yourself so they have a safe harbor.
right. Which brings us to actually applying this, strategic detachment. And this idea, which sounds provocative, of couch parenting.
Ah, yes. Couch parenting. It gets a reaction.
I bet, because detachment can sound negative, like you don't care.
We have to be crystal clear here. Detachment is not neglect. Neglect is absence. It's abandoning your kid to figure things out alone, with no support.
Detachment is different.
Detachment is authority without anxiety. It's the conscious strategic skill of refusing to jump in and fix everything, refusing to overfunction, so that your child actually has the space and the necessity to develop their own skills, to learn to function.
So it's stability, not abscess.
Exactly. You remain present, grounded, anchored, the head regulator, holding the safe space while they grapple with the challenge. It's love expressed through restraint, through trusting their capability.
Okay, so the couch metaphor. The couch isn't about being lazy.
No. The couch is your strategic command center. It's your observation post. From there, you have perspective. You can regulate your energy and get back to green, watch the dynamics play out, and intervene only when absolutely necessary. Not as a frantic rescuer, but as a calm, decisive leader.
And the hardest part is
Staying on the damn couch. Staying seated and steady when every fiber of your being, programmed by anxiety and maybe your own childhood, is screaming, fix it, rescue them, don't let them struggle.
because their struggle triggers my anxiety about
What?
my competence as a parent, their future failure.
All of the above. So choosing to do nothing, which is actually active restraint and regulation, is the ultimate test of leadership. You're trusting them more than you're trusting your fear.
You're intentionally letting them experience the friction needed for growth. You're not short-circuiting the learning.
Bingo. And that ties directly back to the memory paradox and mastering closure.
Right. Because effort fades, endings stick.
So the detached parent, the strategic one, consciously directs their limited energy budget towards nailing the closure. The end of the conflict, the end of the routine, the end of the day. That's present parenting in action.
Okay, let's make that concrete. The classic bedtime battle.
Oh yeah. Scenario A. The anxious effort parent. Maybe the evening was lovely. Good dinner, story time, cuddles.
Check, check, check. Performance metrics met.
Right. But then the last 15 minutes hit. The stalling. The endless requests for water, pushing boundaries, and eventually the parent, frayed and exhausted, just snaps. Go to sleep. Slams the door.
Ugh. Been there.
We all have.
Yeah.
But what's the memory that crystallizes? What's the peak in the end?
The yelling, the slammed door, the feeling of shame, frustration, fear.
Exactly. High emotional intensity, peak, negative closure, end. The kid's nervous system, which wants to feel safe before sleep, registers danger. And that feeling, it wipes out the nice dinner and story time. Dysregulation wins.
Okay, scenario B, the detached parent. How does that look different?
They anticipate the testing. They know it's coming. They hold their green zone before it starts.
Yeah.
When the stalling begins, they state the boundary calmly, firmly. My job is putting you to bed. Your job is sleep. I'll stay here quietly, but the negotiating is over.
Even if the kid is still protesting.
Crying.
Mad.
Especially then. The key isn't to stop the protest. It's to ensure the parent remains the calm anchor. The final feeling isn't necessarily happy compliance, but it is trust, clarity, and calm authority. The kid might still be upset, but the system feels safe because the leader is steady.
So the goal isn't a quiet kid necessarily. It's a regulated parent providing a safe container for the kid's feelings.
You got it. The lasting memory is that feeling of predictable, calm strength from you. And this is where repair becomes so crucial.
Meaning, if I do mess up, if I have a red zone moment.
It happens.
Yeah.
We're human. But the repair after the explosion, the genuine apology, the reconnecting, the calm reestablishment of the boundary at the end that matters more than trying to be perfect from the start. Endings teach the nervous system what safety feels like after the storm.
Okay, so practically, how do we execute this? You mentioned the DETACH framework.
Right. The whole framework gives you the map, but for nailing this peak end, memory-making closure, we really zoom in on two letters, H and T.
Let's quickly recap the whole thing first, just for context.
Good idea. DETACH stands for D, decide your non-negotiables. What are the real boundaries? E, execute them consistently, calmly, firmly. T, tune your nervous system. Get to green. Check your traffic light. A, allow the struggle. Resist the urge to rescue. Let them learn. C, communicate less. Your calm energy speaks louder than lectures. H, hold the space. Be the calm perimeter while they work through it.
Okay, DETACH.
Yep.
And for mastering the end, you said T and H are key.
Paramount. Tune your nervous system. T means your first job, before you react to that mess, the argument, the meltdown, is to check your own state. Am I red? Yellow. Okay, pause. Breathe. Get to green. You cannot offer regulation if you're dysregulated.
My regulation comes first.
Always. And then
Yeah.
hold the space. This means your grounded green zone energy creates a safe container for the chaos. You don't have to stop the tears or fix the frustration instantly. You allow it, trusting they can handle it, because you are handling yourself. You're present through your stability, not your interference.
So regulating the end means I refuse to let the final interaction be you yelling, me crying, door slamming.
Right. You consciously choose to make the final feeling one of grounded trust, or clear boundaries delivered calmly, or reconnecting after a rupture, not lingering shame or anxiety.
Yeah.
That's mastering the end.
Okay. This is a fundamental shift. It's not just a new technique.
Exactly. This isn't about adding another item to your already insane parental checklist. We're not swapping make perfect lunch for execute perfect closure.
It's deeper than that.
It's deep internal rewiring. It's based on how brains actually work, how nervous systems interact. It's about changing the root cause, your own anxiety, your own need for control, which then transforms the external dynamics. Guaranteed.
It's not about managing the kid's behavior.
It's about managing your internal state. They're not projects, they're mirrors. Your legacy isn't going to be about how clean the house was or how many activities they
But
did.
about the connection, the resilience.
The feeling of safety you provided, the capability they built because you trusted them enough to let them struggle within that safety.
We don't do participation trophies here. We're talking about real systemic change because we change the head regulator. We change you.
Which leads us right to the big paradox, the core of the Detached Parent Manifesto, really.
Lay it on us.
I do less stress.
Strategically.
Strategically, because restraint is leadership. Because sometimes doing less allows more to happen, more learning, more capability, more connection. What sticks? What do they carry with them forever? It's not the memory of the perfect vacation itinerary. It's the felt sense of your steady belief in them, your calm presence even when things were hard. They don't remember the lecture points. They remember feeling safe and capable because you didn't rush in.
So the final paradox to chew on.
When you finally stop performing for your children, when you lay down that impossible burden of perfection and minute-by-minute management, when you claim the calm authority of the couch, the head regulator,
You actually get to live with them.
yes, you free them to become who they need to become. And in doing that, you free yourself from that exhausting anxiety trap.
Wow. Okay. Powerful stuff.
So the question to leave you with today is this. What would actually fundamentally change in your home, starting right now, if you claimed that head regulator role? If you started checking your traffic light, if you shifted your focus from desperately trying to perfect the start of the day to strategically mastering the ending, those crucial peaks and closures.
Where the memories actually live.
Where the memories live. The work starts now. Choose
Yeah.
trust over fear.